Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, a success. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is. Now, in this chart, the moon is in Sagittarius. However, for the beginning of the day, the moon will be right here at the last degrees of Scorpio. When the moon's in Scorpio, it brings our attention to relationships, working deeply with other people, also to organizing our finances. Spending money happens more often in Scorpio than bringing it in. Also in Scorpio, we get making some changes in life and doing some deep soul searching. What we have going on very, very early this morning, perhaps while many of us are sleeping, is this moon in Scorpio making a trine over here to Chiron in Pisces. What that could bring, perhaps there's some uncomfortable feelings very, very early this morning, late last night into this morning, maybe just not feeling the best that we want to feel about, our life, some change we're making, about something that's going on with relationships and money. Maybe just internally there's maybe a lot of stuff going on as well. I think with the moon just making a trine to the north node right before this alignment, that we're trying to kick some sensitivities, kick some things that are uncomfortable for us so that we can move forward, but there still may be some things that are lingering in the morning. Okay, so that's what's going to happen there. The next thing that's going to happen after that is now going to be around the time some of us are waking up. What's going to happen then is the moon is going to enter Sagittarius, where you see it here. When the moon's in Sagittarius, then I believe becomes more about our days are focused to doing something new, doing something different. Ideally doing something a little bit more exciting and more optimistic than a few hours earlier when the moon was in Scorpio, a place it doesn't like to be, in that hard trine to Chiron. So I do like the day as we start to wake up and get moving. After that happens, the next alignment is going to be still early in the morning, around breakfast. This moon in Sagittarius is going to make a trine over here to Mars and Aries. And what that can bring, and maybe as we're eating breakfast, is a lot going on, a lot of new things, a lot of excitement here, trying to do new things, see things in different ways, expand our worldview here. I think we can be a little bit more active, a little bit more passionate, a little bit more driven after maybe some hard things came up. That last night, I think it's going to be a lot easier for us to start to do things to overcome that hardship and to move forward, getting more excited and passionate about things and getting things going. So that's what we've got happening there. And then that is the last aspect this moon is going to make for most of the day. So I might plan, if I were you, if I were me, I am going to be following this to get more of your important tasks done, perhaps at the beginning of the day, so that the end of the day, while the moon isn't making any aspects, can be spent maybe taking care of some old business that's been lingering a little bit. So that's what we've got going on there. That's my first message of the day. Work, get things done early on, and then use the rest of the day to either take it easy or to tend to things you've been putting off. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is going to be right here. Mercury, the last degrees of Sagittarius, coming into a square with Chiron and a trine to Uranus. That has a lot to do, of course, Mercury, with the way that we communicate and the way that we think. Communication can be a little bit difficult at this time. It could be very hard to communicate, especially to communicate in finite terms, very detailed in a very disciplined way about specifics, especially because Mercury is in Sagittarius, doesn't like to be in Sagittarius. Now it's making the square to Chiron. And with the trine to Uranus, so there could be a lot of weird things coming up in conversations, unexpectedly, suddenly, maybe sudden news, unexpected news of something occurring in some way that maybe does not feel that comfortable, or maybe that's confusing, that then you have to decipher about what's going on with the things that are coming up. So I think that could be here, and I think the message I want to leave you with this alignment is to be prepared if something unexpected, some news does come up, sudden news about something new or different that's going on, but to also be a little bit more compassionate towards yourself and others, especially when it comes to communicating. People may not be able to say exactly what they want or what they're feeling and the way that they want to say it, and I think needing with this alignment too to be very sensitive to the fact that that may be going on, and to not be afraid to see deeper and to see underneath the circumstances to what people really mean in order to make that easier. Now, the third and last thing I want to talk about, maybe I'll go here with the Oh, everything's crowded. It's happening around the same thing. But I'll go here with the Sun-Saturn conjunction. Sun in a conjunction with Saturn is going to bring a lot of seriousness, perhaps to the day, a lot more than maybe we've had the past year or so. If it doesn't bring seriousness, I like to think it can bring a little bit more stability coming back to our lives here, where we're starting to make decisions, or at least need to make decisions about your life, about where it's going, about what you want to do, especially with the solar eclipse going to come into this spot in a few days' time, very soon here. We may have to make cuts in our life about things we were doing or need to do or can do, having to make, just hard choices and decisions about some things. But I think these decisions aren't necessarily going to be bad things per se, but I like to think that they're going to be good decisions to help you streamline your course, cut out the fat, get rid of things that are holding you back, so that you can finally start to commit to some path and move forward on it, even if the conversations that you have to have in order to make these decisions and cuts are challenging, and even if you yourself are still trying to figure out in your own mind what it is that you want and need. But I do like to think decisions will be necessary to help you move forward. Thinking more serious and more long term will also be important, and I like to think this alignment will make it easier for you to make those hard decisions than it would have been perhaps at another time this past year. So that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.